All right, so here's just another version of this test. This time I've switched the spectrum into bins mode rather than line mode. So bins gives you the more raw FFT data, the fast Fourier transform data, and just gives you a little bit of a different view in the spectral graph. And I've also switched it from log to linear, just to show the spectrum in a different fashion where everything's equal rather than being logarithmic. So here I'll do the, I'm just going to do the Roland SCO2, Studio Electronics SCO2 first. So here again you see the same sort of behavior with the fundamental frequency and the first harmonics are all fairly stable. But as you get down here into the higher harmonics, you see this back and forth movement. And one interesting thing you can see on this type of graph, the linear with bins, you can see that some of these bins have bins beside them with data that's moving up and down. So that's actually the data that's indicating that the frequency is modulating for these upper harmonics. And then the other interesting thing that I'm noticing about this is, so the general harmonic positions stay the same as this wave sort of moves back and forth, and it's sort of like an amplitude modulation of the harmonics. So there's a little bit of amplitude modulation of a couple decibels at the main harmonic points, and then there is some frequency modulation that's happening to these harmonics up here. And so here I'll switch over to the Rev2 now and play the same note. So this is without any sort of modulation on it. This is just the standard VCO oscillator. Again, you see as before, everything is very stable all the way up into the very high harmonics. There's basically no movement up here in the high harmonics, as opposed to if you look at the SCO2, the VCO synth, you see you have all this movement and all of this slight frequency modulation happening in the upper register. So now if I take this patch and go over to my modulation, I'm just going to turn these back on to 1 and 1 and do the Rev2 again. Now you have this similar type of motion to the VCO oscillator on the SCO2, where you have this motion, this sort of amplitude modulation of all of the major harmonics up here, as well as some frequency modulation happening in here. And you can sort of see, it looks very similar from a spectral perspective. Here's the SCO2 with the VCO oscillator, and here is the Dave Smith Rev2 with the frequency modulation. And again, all these parameters can be adjusted and really fine-tuned by editing the gated sequencer values here, and also just how the LFOs are set up. So anyway, that was just another way to look at this analysis in the spectral graph with bins and linear scaling.